broadcast, July 17th, 2025. So next week, we're going to have National Master Frankie Johnson, very strong player on the channel. Also, just another local player announcement. Congratulations to Samrug, our state champion, for getting a GM norm. I think it's his first GM norm at I think it was a tournament held at the Marshall Chess Club Invitational event. Also, we'll have the Roger Hale tournament coming up in August. There's going to be the U.S. Open, so we've moved the Roger Hale to a little bit later on. So we're going to have that. I think it's like the 23rd and 24th of August, and then August 22nd. There's going to be a training camp with Grandmaster Robby's going to be there, and also make sure to check out the Tuesday Nighter as well. We might at some point, we've been kicking around the idea of maybe doing a recap of the Tuesday night games. So same time same type of um, same type of increment and everything, just 1 hour less, basically half hour less per side, so 60 plus 30. And also Catfish days. There is still a few hotel rooms. I believe the Morton Inn's full. But if you go to Catfish days, it's July 25th through the 27th. There's going to be a couple different potlucks during it, and it'll be the 30th annual. So kind of a fun like family event. And yeah, I don't think we're featuring any particular player this week. So I guess we can get straight into the games.
All right. So let's see, where should we start? I guess we'll start from the top board and go from there. So we have Andy Hortolosa versus Nate Hoover. And it started off as a Queen's Gambit declined, but then G3 suggests that it's a Catalan. And now we're potentially in a semi-Slav against the Catalan, depending on where Black places his bishop. And this move isn't the most common move, this exchanging on d5. Often White will play to try and build up for e4 without exchanging on that square, but I think this is probably valid. And a4 seems a little bit committal because this square is now really weak, among other things.
Yeah, so now would a5 be just a good move? Because it seems like White might want to at some point do the minority attack, and a5 just seems to really ruin that. And now Black can have a nice, just nice pawn chain if they, keep e4 from happening.
Yes, I think White would be slightly White would be slightly inconvenienced by a5, and all of a sudden Black seems to have the better position on the queen side anyway. After a5 here, so yeah, I think this was probably a bit more the point than 0-0, but okay, 0-0 is not necessarily bad. And actually, if a5 immediately, White might have difficulty holding on to that pawn in the long run. But knight a3 happens, and knight e4 is played for response. And already, I'd say at this moment, I'm already thinking that Black's a little bit better. I don't know what you feel.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of confused, I guess, by White's whole play. Like I'm wondering why the Knight Tour. I guess maybe is he trying to just relocate to d3? I mean, d3 is a good square, but now wondering what White's doing with their dark square bishop. I mean, usually this can be kind of an issue in the Catalan anyway, but
Mhm.
in particular here.
Yes.
Um, so I just I'm not sure. Maybe if knight d3, bishop f4 is the idea, and maybe
That's what I'm wondering if that's the idea. But then the question is, do you spend that many moves? So let's see. So he's gone knight a3, knight c2, knight e1, and then potentially knight d3 in order to play bishop f4, and then combine that with the fact that the b4 square is weak already. It seems a bit ambitious for white to spend all that time. Um, and then he changes his mind and decides to play knight h4 instead of bishop f4. But okay, it's a move. Black has to make a decision as to how he's going to respond. And here, so this is, I think, a very interesting point that Andy might have overlooked, which is part of his plan seems to be, or part of what I was hoping to take advantage of, is that this guy here has run out of retreat squares. There's nothing, there's no safe move for the knight to go to where it can't be captured. And so we probably figured that after f3 that he'd win material. The problem, though, is that Nate had seen a bit further and said, yeah, my knight has no escape, and he's happy with it. He'll give up his life, but now what's your knight going to do, right? And so this guy is lacking retreat squares, and there's no way to save him. And Andy chose to give it up immediately with knight g3, which I thought was an interesting decision. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way to save it. Yeah.
shouldn't we at least try bishop g5?
That's what I was thinking. That bishop g5 at least, maybe after this, then you consider playing. It's hard to say what's the better way, because here now white.
Well, I was thinking
Probably.
maybe f4 though. Like f4 is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But maybe not enough because after takes and then bishop takes on h4, I guess they can take on f6. I was hoping for some kind of, as white here. Well, maybe that as well, but I mean now there is knight f5, so I think maybe just taking the knight on h4 and maybe there's
Okay. Yep. And then if here, then we just go here, and now there are 2 pawns up with very little, if any, compensation. And the king is very well aerated, if I may say. So, yeah, this would not be in white's favor. But he gives it up without a fight after that. And now, I'm not sure if white can point to any major compensation here. It just seems like his position is fairly depressing.
Yeah, and e4 too just seems really over the top because I mean your king's already in a bad situation. So I don't know. I think earlier on it's worth pointing out too, like that f3. I mean, I've fallen victim to this, thinking like, okay, the way to beat the Catalan and the Dutch and everything is like f3 4. That's how you do it. But no, like a lot of the times, I mean, with the Catalan, it's actually like that d4 pawn. Like it's like it looks really good, but no, it's a lot of times it's kind of weak. So so if you're just patient,
Exactly. Yeah, this position is So now he's a piece up. Oh no, sorry, he's 2 pawns up, and the pin really isn't that dangerous, but White has to do something to try and create play. So you see somehow. Okay, so
if he would have just continued earlier with Bishop F4 instead of that whole Knight H4 thing, I mean, maybe Black could have been happy with it because White's got no real advantage to speak of, but at the same time,
yes,
White
I think
hasn't
here
done
Bishop
anything.
F4 just seems consistent with his previous play, right?
Right.
Exchange off the bishop. And if he doesn't agree, then maybe play h3, bishop e5, or something along those lines. Which would probably keep him out of the trouble he found himself in the actual game, where e4 is an attempt to get active, maybe threaten the pawn, but then Nate. Yeah. Now, it seems, e5 is not working here. I guess.
He could even potentially take on e5. As funny as, but maybe there's a5 then, I guess. But you could always just take the d pawn, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. Where is the king going to go? Maybe I don't know, over here, and then bishop takes, and 2 pawns for the price of nada. So, well, we'll see how Andy tries to address this issue, but it seems to me that Black is definitely in the driver's seat here.
So yeah, maybe we can look at this board 2.
Oh, this is
what the heck
madness.
Jordan. This is definitely a Jordan game, isn't it?
Well, when you have Jordan on one side of the board and Connor Weatherly on the other side of the board, I think that position we saw isn't unexpected. So let's see how we got there. Have a bishop opening. And just stopping here. I don't know how it's happened, but Black seems to be doing a little bit better than White right here. And he's got his. So where did White lose the tempi? So here, there. So
E3, right there. E3. So if we go back a move. So after bishop c4, knight f6. Okay. I guess the problem is, I mean, it's just theories. He could play knight c3, but then there's the problem of like taking on e4, and then there's d5, and that typically is good for Black. I thought, wasn't there some line where you can just play knight f3 and like let Black take on e4 even, and then I mean if you're gonna play this stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I think that you might be correct. Knight f3 is possible. Maybe even d4 immediately might be possible.
Right.
Here.
But yeah, so maybe d3 was like a little bit slow.
Well, yeah, I think, I mean, d3 is almost by definition slow, but d3 also is the most common move here, and a lot of heavy hitters. I guess one question is could White have addressed the threat of d5 differently?
Well, maybe here not taking, like maybe just bishop back to. Could there be some bishop back to b3 and then
B3.
taking on
Yeah.
e5?
Yeah, I think this here might be more to the point.
Now you could potentially get some kind of weird fried liver if they take on e4, like maybe knight
E4.
g5. So like knight, knight g5.
Yeah, knight G5 seems to
There's bishop
get the
e4
job
check,
done.
bishop e4 check c3, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, this would be a very nice gift for the white king. So
Hmm.
yes, this might be so. So bishop b4 is not working. I guess bishop e6
Uh,
is doable, but um, this cannot be what.
Little distasteful.
Yeah, that I find it unlikely that Black woke up this morning deciding, "Yep, this is the position I want on my board." But
Uh, so,
seven or whatever. So, so yeah, this looks kind of nasty.
hmm. So bishop b3, I guess,
So
and
bishop
yeah,
e3, I think, yeah, would have been the better approach, uh, which points to the importance of having some grasp on the openings you play or may be forced to contend with, because going into this position, you kind of need to know that tactically bishop b3 is still working. Um, Instead, by playing pawn takes pawn and pawn takes pawn, um, and bishop here, I think black is okay. And the question is, what has white gotten? Or maybe better put, um, white is now joyfully fighting to get equality. Because right now, black has his pawns on e5 and d5. His knights are developed. His bishop is going to be. He's basically 3 moves ahead, 3 tempi ahead in development, it seems like.
yes, looks nice for black.
Yeah, this is, yeah, this kind of position um, had to be very pleasant for Jordan. He just has a risk-free, better position, as far as I can tell. And
That doesn't look pleasant.
no,
Uh-oh. Yeah, exactly.
and he doubles down on the nastiness. So, oh wow, this is looking very dangerous. Very dangerous. So,
Crazy.
wowie. All right. So, okay. Well, uh, Connor gets a pawn for his troubles.
Oh, well, wait a second. Can we go back here? So after G6, this seems kind of precarious. Like, is there any? I was gonna look at H4 and other ideas. No, there's nothing. I was just like, there's so many different things that are possible. Like, there's potential, um, there's potential forks on H6 and D6, and that's just all of this just hanging
Yeah.
out. But I guess it all works. It's just I don't know, just kind of boggling, I guess. All right.
Yeah, it is actually an interesting position because exactly how does white deal with this position?
Yeah, there's not
compared to
anything obvious. I mean, maybe there's just taking on b7 because if knight c5, then maybe you can get away with knight e7, but it's kind of questionable. No, the queen sees the rook. What am I talking about?
Well, yeah, but it's still threatening to an exchange, right?
Yeah, yeah, it takes. Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, maybe.
black might not be too happy with this because if he plays
But
here, he can capture here.
but they could just walk their king away.
But then the knight captures on c8, right? So say
But
king
then
here.
but then your queen goes away.
Oh, there's that. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very important detail. So yeah. So sorry, my bad. So then if king g7, yeah. How do we address this?
This was just trying to find something for white or seeing if we can be greedy and take another pawn, but I don't know. I guess
No,
probably
it
not.
seems if it's not working for white. Yeah. So here, it seems like the idea of h4 might not be working right away. But 93 seems okay, a little bit docile. The other line might have created some excitement. After this, black is able to grab a pawn, well, regain a pawn. But then on the flip side, white's queen and knight are kind of active. And so black has to figure out what it's doing. And there's a
Oh,
small trick attached to this. I don't know if the trick is working, but well, we'll see what happened in the game. Queen e3 and knight f3 as expected. King f1 and
okay.
rook e5. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, I don't know. I guess um I don't know. I guess I'd be so looking at the whole f6 thing and like, yeah, maybe knight f6 doesn't work, and I don't. I guess I just it's just a stylistic thing. Like this just feels like um we're trying to go hunting in like a landmine, you know,
Yes.
yeah, like a landmine field or something. We're just like, okay,
Yes.
okay, we're gonna hunt this deer and maybe we'll scare it onto a landmine and maybe we'll step on one. Who knows? It's just crazy.
Yeah, it seems not very pleasant, and so it's funny because black initiated the festivities, and yet black also seems to be the one who is in major, who has who might find his own king in danger. Um, so this happened, and it's menacing. This queen h2. Unfortunately for black, knight f6 is coming quickly.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, this is
Well, now,
not nice.
yeah, doesn't seem. It just feels a little too artificial for black at this point. We're not
No,
able
black,
to.
I think, is busted. There's no way. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
way to adequately get the queen and rook out of the knight's fork without leaving either on prise. So, for example, if king f2, oops, sorry. So knight there, queen here, and then king here. Now both the queen and the rook are in dire straits. So Yeah, it seems as if at this moment, Black's definitely in the upper hand. So this actually happened in the game, which is, I suppose, forced anyhow. And a king f2 and knight there, which, okay, has its benefits, but it's quite possible that White could have played rook e1, understanding that the queen in the corner is still trapped. So say rook e1, and then say here, and the queen is not coming out of that position alive. However, he remembered that the aim of the game in chess is to checkmate the opponent's king, and went straight for it.
Jeez. Okay. Well, um, that's pretty crazy. So I think, I mean, just that is one thing. Like Jordan is amazingly talented, but
Mm-hmm.
just this whole trying to it feels like push the thread or swim up river.
Yes.
A lot of the times, it's fascinating to watch,
Mm-hmm.
but I just I just think a lot of times if you, and in general, I guess maybe talking about like what are artificial moves, and we'd say artificial moves are anything like, you have like the knight on f3 where it's like, okay, it's got to be tactically supported. You're putting your pieces where they're hanging, getting attacked by pawns and whatnot. And when you're doing that, you have to be perfect. And it just requires
Yeah.
so much energy. So, I don't envy him when he becomes an old timer like us, to be able to keep that up.
Yes. That could end up being a mission impossible, right?
Yeah.
So no, but I think he probably will adapt his game as needed as things go along. But
Right.
yeah, so Connor is back to his winning ways. And in the next game, we have Eddie playing against Matt Krusak, who I believe was a featured player last week.
Yeah, he was, and he won a nice game with White last week, I believe.
Yes. So let's see how his tiff with Eddie goes. Eddie goes into the advanced variation of the French.
Well,
And
it's
offers,
interesting because Eddie also plays the French as black too, so he probably knows what he's doing here.
oh, for sure. And actually, my first experience, because I'm guessing, oh, he played Bishop D7, which is, I mean, from the early 20th century, this Bishop D7 immediately was considered inaccurate. There was this famous game, I think it was Nimzovich versus Salve, uh, maybe from the 1910s or 1913s, where White continued as he does, as Eddie does in this game with DC5. More accurate is supposed to be CD4 right away, and then Bishop D7. Although Eddie was the first person to play, I think he was the first person to play this against me, which turns it into a new and improved Milner-Barry gambit, as I call it. Had a number of battles in this game, and actually one of the co-champions of the castle recently, National Master Tim Rademacher, also plays this thing, and so it's one of those things. I was kind of interested to see if Matthew Krusak was going to try that, see what Eddie had up his sleeve, but okay. He varied with Bishop D7 immediately, which allows that. And one of the problems for black in this kind of position is finding an active and safe square for the dark squared bishop. I mean, we usually think of the light squared bishop as the problem bishop, but in the advance, it often is the case that the black squared bishop is not having good squares, and you have to keep that in mind as you're developing your other pieces. So black plays a5 to at least discourage b4.
Right. I had a question about this because I don't know this, much about this line. So I was wondering, yeah, instead of a5, is it possible there's some cases because yeah, a5 is obviously trying to prevent like knight e7 and then b4 and bishop being trapped. But so after castles for white, is knight to h6 a reasonable idea? Because sometimes it is, but here, I mean, maybe I was thinking knight h6, and if he takes castle queenside and try and do some kind of operations on the g file with the queenside rook, but maybe it's just a little, maybe it's not good enough. I don't know if that would be.
No, I think it should be considered. I think at least it should be considered. I don't know if it's great or not, but I think that a5 might not be necessary at this moment. And so, yeah, so knight h6 instead is a consideration. At the very least, yeah.
Because the other thing was I was curious if he takes on h6, is it possible to take on b3, or is that just too loose? Or b2?
Yeah, I don't know that that's working in this specific position. The king is castled, so I think things might be a bit different. So then after this, then maybe here, and so rook g8, and then here maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then if here, then I think we have this, and now it might be difficult. I mean, even if the queen doesn't end up getting eaten,
Yeah.
actually, well, how does black play this?
Looks pretty. It's pretty unfortunate.
Maybe d4 has to be played. I don't know, to try and create some kind of escape route.
Yeah, d4.
This might be doable, but then okay, we could play here and force the rook to a bad square. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
And whatever. Yeah. So this, I just get the feeling that white is having a lot more fun in this position than black. So knight h6 is probably not working. Right there. At least, well, knight h6 with the idea of capturing back on b2 immediately is not working. Now this position might have other challenges to it. Because black can still castle queenside and then has the half-open g file to play with. So this one might be a bit more challenging for white to deal with. And if b4, then bishop e7, and yeah, it's a game. It's a game, and not one that white can claim an advantage off of that. A5 seems a little bit more committal, and combined with knight e7 now means that all of a sudden black has to give up the bishop pair, which, okay, may not be the worst thing in the world, but is probably not what white wants in their life. Now, knight f5 is interesting. I think the idea is to deal with bishop e3. So say if he had played something random, like h6, then I believe there's this and this and this, and all of a sudden, black has to cough up a pawn at least to allow the queen to escape.
Right. Yeah, just looking along that line too. So is G4 a possibility with that in mind? So after knight to F5,
Oh, okay. So
like for white. So after like what happened?
yes. So yeah. So G4 here to me seems like a definite way to go because I don't see where the knight is retreating to. That's not going to be problematic. So say knight h6 happens, and knight here, queen here, queen there, and yeah, this just seems to be.
They do have Queen E7 now though. So like that is
There's that.
so maybe instead of bishop E3 right away, we could like white could just slow play it and say your position is sad. You know, maybe just play H3.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, and now the knight on the rim is looking dim, and he right now he can't play f6. So yeah, black's position is not inspiring a lot of confidence here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe they can play for D4, but to try and like liquidate some stuff. But
Yeah, that's possible. It just seems a bit iffy, but yeah, maybe d4 right now. You mean, right?
yeah, immediately. So I guess because if we play C4, then yeah, I don't know if white wants to do that and let
Yeah,
black.
that might be a bit tough.
Hmm. So at least it seems, yeah, if black didn't have that move, their position is kind of bad. But after that,
Yeah, yeah. I think g4 is something to consider. Bishop f5 seemed a bit. I mean, yeah, you're winning a pawn. Oh, maybe this is actually
yeah, maybe.
more. Yeah, this is actually more to the point than I thought.
Hmm.
Well, that seems.
Yeah, it seemed
Cool.
unnecessary to take
Yeah,
the rook there.
and but black is still fighting, and all of a sudden seems to be better.
uh, well, so this is another one where it's like, what is actually going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, we could see there's a result, but is it really because of the position, or was there some tactical blunder? It's like, okay,
I
yeah,
think
so H6 looks
yeah,
pretty
I
bad.
think this is getting to the crux of the position. So he's lined up against
Oh, and rookie
a
one is
major.
nice.
Yes, rookie one is brutally efficient. So the idea of rookie one is to capture this guy, which reduces the control over this guy. So that say if black plays something random, then we can do here, queen here.
And then G6, we can't go to G7 because that'll just allow a trade. But if we play Queen G6, then there's the bishop taking up F8. So when the king goes, then there's Bishop C5. Ouch.
Yep. And the king would lose what honor it had. So, yeah, this is a difficult position for black, and black tries to defend with bringing the king up.
Oh no.
And already it looks like the king is being brought up to its doom because the king is in a mating net.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no escaping it. And so black does a desperado queen sacrifice, but it's still not enough, which is also interesting because white is
G4.
threatening G4 and bishop G3. So it's like, okay, this is scary bad. Actually, well, let's see. Let's take a look. So say he plays, what should he play?
You know what? Just play King H4. I'd want to end the game here, I think, if I was.
Yes, that would be a neat way to end the game.
Yeah, just like, okay, it's enough of that.
Yes. I've had enough torture for one evening, is what that move translates to. So let's see what's going on here.
Oh, is it not refreshing?
Yeah, it's not refreshing. I had seen some error earlier about some connection issue, but it's not refreshing. It's just hanging. Is there any indication that Lichess itself is having problems? Excuse me.
Usually pretty good. I'll double check here. No, seems like other functions on Lichess are working just fine. So, and
weird.
I'm able to. Maybe it might be the internet on your side. Potentially,
it could be. I guess reconnected. Hello?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I guess reconnected, and now I'm able to move about the games. So
okay.
So okay, so let's look at
See, oh, I can't see your screen or the board here.
oh, hold on a second. Oh, okay, just a second. Let me see here. Okay.
There we go.
Back up. All right, cool.
Yep.
All right.
Good.
So let's look at Tom Babcock versus Miles Tisserand. And it starts off as a Spanish opening. And we're still potentially, and now 94 announces the open variation. And so far, so relatively booked. So here, mostly standard move so far. And then this happens.
Whoa! Yeah, I was gonna say why. Why? Like, is there something wrong with Queen F3?
I'm not sure what exactly is going on. Let's. I guess we'll we'll look a bit more carefully. So if bishop takes, then maybe there's knight e4.
Okay, but knight e4 doesn't create an additional threat besides the queen, I guess. So, oh no, it
But
does against
it does
against the
threaten it.
bishop.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It does threaten the bishop. So
Oh, okay.
maybe this is the deal. And so
So where did
uh
White go wrong? Because this is definitely not what White would want. So is Rook e1
no.
too slow or something? This is what I
So
don't like about e4. It feels like all of a sudden you can be like strolling around in the park and a pile of bricks lands on your head.
yes.
It's like, what happened, man?
It seems I mean the big issue eventually was leaving the bishop on g5, but in this position, I think White needs to consider queen d3.
Hmm.
Get out of the pin first, threaten the h pawn, but definitely do not leave a piece, a forkable piece on g5, because I think that was what eventually led to the end of his position. Okay, granted, earlier than that, after here and there, then yeah, queen d3 would seem to be the better move there.
Yeah, maybe even. I mean, is taking the f pawn really even necessary too? Like maybe after f5, just continuing on with knight to b3 and just saying, okay, it's not so great if you play f4. We're just gonna go knight to d4 here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I believe my recollection is that this is knight d3 is the most common move, and part of White's plan is to control these squares properly with a maneuver. So, say if queen d7 were to happen next, then play knight, either this knight going there or this knight going there, one of the two.
Well, if that
And
knight
it's,
goes, can we just take on e5, or is that poison or something?
you can, you probably don't want to. So, um, so in this position, say knight c5 happens, um, and okay, now it's a very weird construct. This one, rook e1, and it's like the mother of all.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's a tough position because f4 is coming potentially, and yeah, how do you even address this tactically for Black?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
a
play
a good
here and
question.
here, and once you play c5, part of the problem is that the bishop might want to go here instead. But then once
So
you play c5 here, we just capture.
I guess though the one thing after this, is there any? No, there's just nothing. Huh.
Or maybe even this might actually be better than f4. So he doesn't even get the opportunity to double your pawns. Because if f4, then I suppose you can play knight f3, because this guy is not defended. And then you're forced to do this, and I don't know, queen d6. And okay, he's still lost, but it just seems like bishop f4 might be cleaner because now this guy has extra protection from him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just opinion. It's not like absolute truth. But in any case, I think that's the reason why knight f d4 is playable. And let me check the database here.
Oh, dang.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah, Wei Yi, Wesley So, Peter Fiddler, not chess schmucks like myself. These are like top level people playing this stuff. So obviously there's poison there.
Wow.
It's okay. That's it's okay. That's the way the game went. Yeah, I think after F5, White could have been consistent because this knight B3 thing is it's a maneuver I've seen often. But okay, even as the game was played, F6. Sorry, let me go back a bit. So knight F6, capture, and now it goes for the knight B3. And yeah, I think it was after playing this bishop G5 here that things went awry. It was already strategically a bit of trouble, but after that, then he has to go for this, and he might have based his hopes on bishop f6 in this position, which is not a bad idea. I don't think so. Bishop
Bishop
f6.
F6. So then Rook F6.
So rook f6 and queen check.
I mean,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, white is still a lot worse, I think.
It just seems like, you're helping black through a cliff to bait you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is not looking fun at all.
And next, probably
I
Rook
suppose
D8.
I suppose we could play this maybe though.
Oh, yeah. That's a back rank. Well, wait. So, hmm. There's no.
Yeah, that actually
Right.
it's
That
funny. This
actually
might actually
seems
turn the tables. This might actually turn the tables, and if black is kind enough, he might even respond with this.
yeah,
Aha!
get
I'm
mated.
taking the file, and then get
No.
mated after so.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. Interesting. So, wait a minute. There, after Rook takes, is there Queen takes F3 at all though? So like, Rook takes D7.
and then
Queen.
queen takes
Oh,
f3.
no. What am I? Okay, nope. Then just Queen takes, and it's just just
Yeah, yeah.
nothing.
Up a piece with more active pieces as compensation for being the piece up. And in fact, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this would be nasty. So okay, so 94, which seemed a bit sus, and yeah, this is now looking fairly painful for white.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um.
So what is going on here? What was exactly was wrong with 94 immediately?
Well, D5.
Oh,
So
was a
actually, he's
D5.
just kind of
Got
making
it.
an umbrella pawn, which is interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Using White's own pawn against him.
Yikes.
And if White could have got their queen into the light square diagonal to like G2, maybe they had some hopes of
Yes.
defending.
Oh, at least he has what looks like an active active bishop move. Not sure what pawning there.
But
But
after F4 falls, then the rook is pointing at F2, and it's
yeah.
probably not going to be a good thing. And then you have two pawns also pinned, so yeah, that's
Yes, this is ouch. That was an interesting bit of a turnaround. It seems like, I mean, not that it's necessarily a blunder, but it seems that at this point, Queen D3 had to be played. I think that looks like almost an only move. Break the pin, allow the knights to move if allowed, and don't leave a loose piece. Because even though it's not obviously loose at this moment, it actually is loose. It's under defended, because after this, now it doesn't have any piece defending it, which is why Queen F3 wouldn't have worked here because of 94. Now Bishop's double attacked and defended 0 times, while the Queen is also being attacked. So yeah, after this, Black has had a very strong initiative and never let it go. Every move had a threat, and this D4 move, I think, was high class, using the White's D4 as a double agent against his own empire. So then after this, everything collapses. Okay, that's a nice game by Miles. Which is Miles still on course to travel to North Carolina this fall?
yeah, and I guess not just travel, move there. So he's gonna go to school, and then partly wants to be there for the chess as well. So hopefully
Mm-hmm.
we've prepared him well to go and face
Yes.
the hordes of angry children that will try and scalp him, I'm sure.
Yes. Now in the broadcast, there are a number of games here which do not
I don't
have
have,
moves attached.
yeah,
So I
that's a
guess
real shame.
we'll go to the ones that do have moves attached. So we have Noah versus Thad. Um, and let's see what's going on with that. So Queen's Gambit declined with Bishop F4, and
This is
then
actually interesting. So Bishop B7's a little bit of a mistake already. Um,
aha.
so it's an unclear position. So I kind of sometimes I don't play the Bishop F4 variation, but we'll play Queen's Gambit from both sides, declined and Queen's Gambit is white. But one important thing, it's so easy to play that move of Bishop B7. But one really important thing in this position is that White would really like to take on d5 and force Black to take back with the e-pawn, and then have Black's knights kind of trip over each other. Um, and
Mhm.
Black would like to keep that long diagonal open typically after playing b6, especially after
Mhm.
Bishop b7. So here after Bishop b7, unfortunately, for Black, White can play c takes d5. And because of the Bishop f4, so typically there's a rule of if like there's a rook on c1 or bishop on f4, you always have to watch out for your c pawn. So now knight takes d5, and there's a fork, so White is playing queen c2, and then it's a loss of a pawn either way because of h7 and c7, and so White is kind of in the driver's seat there. Um, So, but if the positional point though would be that Black doesn't have to lose the pawn; they could take back with the e pawn immediately. So after c takes d, e takes. Um, the only issue is that I think white might be able to play queen c2 and just keep black out. Because
Yeah,
one
the
of
bishop
black's
on b7.
ideas,
Yeah.
yeah, one of black's ideas is either open up that long diagonal for the bishop, or
Mhm.
jump your knight into e4. And if they're prevented from both of those things, then it's a tough
Yes.
position.
Yeah, this does not look like what what black would have wanted out of the opening, especially trying to change it. So yeah, it seems as if so. In other words, that also means that 0-0 is a little bit inaccurate. So instead of 0-0, CTX d5 should have been played here. In other words, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because now c5 is back to kind of a normal position.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's something with the bishop f4 variation. Black should immediately go for c5 and then play bishop to b7. And then the key
Hmm.
thing is also to play knight c6 instead of knight to d7.
So
Because
here, c5.
yeah, c5 immediately. And this is just kind of an unclear position, but um, it's okay. Black will sometimes get a hanging pawn structure, and it'll be kind of whoever blunders first, I guess, just like typical chess, I guess.
Yes.
Um, but it's yeah, it's a playable position, and black can castle and just allow bishop b7 and just a normal position. But yeah, so let's say white castles and then bishop b7, and now a lot of the times white's going to want to play queen c2 at some point. And so
Mhm.
if rook, let's say they play rook c1, that's kind of a, non-committal, let's see what happens kind of move. So they might want to take on d5 and play queen c2. So now it's important for black to play knight c6. I've had some cases where I've been too
Oh.
dogmatic about just like, oh, I'm so used to my structure of playing knight to d7 and so forth. But it's really nice to be able to either threaten to give white the IQP, or just
Mhm.
being able to liquidate in the center there.
Yeah.
And this is just an unclear position, and I think black should, if they want to get better, basically just experiment and play this kind of stuff.
Well
But
said. Yeah, it seems like a fundamental type of position that learning can't help but improve your overall chess knowledge, right? Because you have to be thinking about all these transformations of the pawn center, um, IQPs, hanging pawns, etc., and then of course the other tactical issues in the position. So and strategic. So for example, if white plays a nothing move, is knight b4 problematic because the pawn, the bishop, so say, let's say, I don't know, let's say play something like this, is knight b4 a thing to consider because of that and that. And I don't know if I have the answer to that question, but it's still, it is unclear. It's not clear who has the upper hand, and I think neither does. And it comes down to who follows the narrative of the position better, I think. Well, that and
well,
not dropping pieces.
right, and I do think if white, um, the nice thing is in that position for black, white kind of has to make a decision. I think at that point about the structure of the game. Otherwise, I think an easy way for black to play it would just be playing c takes d, and then just
Mhm.
just maybe just sitting on that position for a little bit.
Okay, makes sense. Well, let's see. Let me go back to here. So you have queen e2, and so 97, cd5, which I suppose white could have kept developing rather than liquidate in the center immediately, right? Or is this
Right.
This time.
There is some interesting stuff. So yeah, because there's bishop on f4, it's different than, so if you go back a move, if we kind of could imagine if the bishop was on g5, sometimes there's ideas if white would play a normal move like rook f to d1, then white would sometimes want to have that file open up, so black can play
Hmm.
c takes d, and then but here yeah, and this could be just an IQP position, and some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But if they had to play, if like white wanted to keep the file open and play knight
Oops.
takes,
Sorry.
whoops,
Kind of went all the way back.
yep.
Okay. Yeah. Here. So then we're looking at
Oh,
rook there and then c4.
yeah, so if knight takes, I think here there's a,
Oh,
so
knight takes
pawn takes.
here.
Yeah, there's just a fork here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, that's what I was saying. If you could imagine there being a bishop on g5, so in a
Yes.
different line, they can play like rook d1, and if it's not the bishop f4 line, then the
Mhm.
interesting thing is after knight takes, there's a nice move of like knight e5, and you can win the d3 bishop or the c pawn. But yeah, here
Yeah.
it's not even really an option. So maybe that's why white feels like they have to liquidate here, is because rook
Yeah.
d1 is not really that good.
I mean, and his position is not necessarily. Oh, I don't know. The pawn structure seems okay. So I wasn't imagining things. The pawn structure is kind of iffy for white here, hence not taking back. Actually, it's not the pawn structure that's iffy. It's the piece configuration, because knight
Right.
take allows this,
Yeah, that's definitely
which would
unfortunate.
be nasty. So knight there, and yeah,
Oh no.
all of a sudden, black is in the driver's seat. Still okay. Maybe there's some concern after b4 and knight
This seems
b7 seems.
so.
Hmm.
Let's go back a little bit before like bishop a6.
Yeah,
So
I thought
yeah, right
a5
here.
might be doable. Yeah,
Yeah, wait, oh, you're saying
or
a5?
d3. Maybe
Yeah,
d3 immediately.
d3. Yeah, exactly, d3 because the e
Yeah,
pawn.
d3 immediately, and then if he goes here, then maybe even bishop e5, a4, and this way, even if he gets the pawn back, uh,
But could they have played bishop takes d3, I guess, when it's so instead of queen f1? So is that just not working? So just bishop takes.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
so never mind. Maybe I don't know, it just seemed like, so how do we end up with, okay, so that is an extra pawn. So maybe the answer isn't how do we keep this pawn, and maybe it's how do we give it back successfully.
Yes.
Um and let's see. Oh, interesting. I guess one of the problems, I'm just looking and seeing, like, it would be really nice if we were able to just play, if black's able to play e5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the two pieces that are kind of in the way of that are the dark square bishop and the knight on f3. And
Are you
so
thinking
actually
about this?
yes, g5. And I've actually had some games where you just play this move, and yeah, I wonder, so g5.
Yeah, this seems like it would be pretty.
I don't know if we go G4 though. I don't know if we're that crazy, but
Yeah,
see.
G4. Let's investigate it for a minute. So
Yeah.
G4, and I guess 91 or 92 seem like the only safe squares for the.
Well, now they might be able to actually take on D4.
Yes, there is that. Oh, and this guy is hanging.
Yeah, so I think that's a little. So maybe G5 isn't working.
Yeah,
A
G5 seems. G5
little
is very
crazy.
ambitious, to put it mildly.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, after rook f1, maybe black just needs to figure out.
Well, one idea could just be to liquidate a little bit. So like rook C8, and because those rooks are really nice for white. So if we can trade there, then the queen actually could find a home on A8 potentially, and then the other
True.
rook could swing over. So it's an idea. Because right now they're not threatening to take on D4 yet, so there's no hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is the best practical choice here. Because yeah, the knight c5 bishop a6 maneuver looked interesting, but was tactically loose. Because after this, there's no way to maintain the e5, the d4 pawn, and I mean that move seems a bit committal, but can that move? So all of a sudden, it to me, it's not clear that I don't prefer White's position.
Yeah. Looks like pretty comfortable for white. Wow. That's that's nice.
Yes.
Whoa, okay, so could have oh, I was just trying to see if there was some crazy like rook takes C6 and no, it doesn't seem quite in the cards yet, but maybe queen E3 and queen over to H3 could be interesting
Hmm. Which is what
so
Thad
far, yeah.
went for.
Hmm.
Oh well.
I was
So,
wondering if the B4 pawn was hanging earlier after so after all of that, let's see. So after queen e3, wait, a little bit further back when there was still a rook on d2, because that knight
mhm,
could be overloaded. If you go a little bit further, so it was we had yeah, keep going further. After all, no, sorry, not that far back, actually forward. So yeah, so after all of this, the trade, yeah, it takes
mhm,
and it was once the queen was on e3, so keep going. Yep. And here, and then queen e3.
mhm.
Right now is like, is it possible to take on b4
Hmm.
because there's back rank issues? So bishop b4.
But the bishop is this guy is still here, right? So if we play bishop b4,
Yep.
then knight b4.
Oh my man, am I just? I'm trying to see through pieces, but that's just plain silly. Okay, never mind.
But I mean, I guess
Like
he's starting the
I,
pawn now.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking here. I guess in my head, I was yeah, okay, because now he's moved and he was threatening it. Right. Oh, it ends up.
Row.
So, okay, it was like a forecast, I guess. Just, you know,
Yes.
I have to be like a real weatherman and tell you it's gonna rain, and it'll be like instead of today, it'll be next week. It's okay.
Yes. But it will rain at some point. Yeah, this is actually a nice tactic, and Noah agrees to go into an endgame, and they're still fighting. But it seems like after knight d7, the f4 e5 pawn might be in danger. So maybe white has to consider bishop g3 to make room for f4 to save his pawn. Okay,
Yeah.
which is what he
So
plays.
well, here, yeah. So this is interesting. So can we? Yeah, definitely. Black should be happy with all these developments. So now, I think Black can throw in g5 and kind of ruin
Yeah.
White's plans, and then I'm not sure how they maintain the pawn after g5.
Yeah, that could be. Actually, is there a way to maintain the pawn after that? It would seem very difficult.
See, like these moves, like the way I suggested them were all garbage. Like they're all useful at some point in time. Like I suggest g5 and bishop b4 and all this stuff. Just there we go.
Yes.
Noah just has to actually play them in the correct way. That's
Yes. Just has to figure the right move order, and then it all works. So
yeah.
yeah. Well, let's see. So
Okay,
Noah
king
played
f8.
king f8, and okay, but no, I think g5 had seemed to have more going for it. But okay, let's move on to the next completed game, which is
Right.
Eric Gallon versus Judson Girton. And it starts off as an English with maybe it's like a martial defense similarities to, well, it could be, if you're in Kettles, could be transposing to like a Grunfeld type position. But Judson plays differently with, excuse me, knight, queen d5. And so it gets a tempo, but the queen is exposed. And so white will be able to regain the tempo with knight c3 next,
Is
as
this?
happened.
I don't know. I haven't really played the English much, but or at all actually. Um, but is this really even a line? I mean, this just seems like really
Yeah, I think black, if
unfortunate.
black is going to play d5 that early, which it is pretty early to play it that in this position, play d5, then I would think he'd be playing it with the idea of capturing on d5 with the knight. The,
Right.
the tempo gained, the tempo gained by playing queen d5 in the big picture isn't worth it, because as the game went, queen d5, now knight f3, now knight c6, and so white is on the same footing, or maybe slightly quicker footing in terms of development, and has two pawns potentially to put in the center compared to that guy. And so maybe white has a bit of an advantage, especially with, and if you count the moves it takes for each piece to get to where they are, it appears that Eric has gained some tempi.
Yeah, and that was important for black to play e5 right there, because otherwise it looked like white was going to get d4, and then black would have had to play e6 and had a sad bishop forever. So I mean, this is
Yes,
kind of a do or die moment. Black needs to play this e5 move.
yes. Which brings up the question of, should d4 have been played instead of castling?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, d4 now. see, or instead of bishop. So should we just do it right now? Because even I guess there's bishop g4, but
Yes.
is that really going to be good after d5? Because there's no knight to
Which,
b5 or knight
yes.
d4 because queen a4 wins the piece there. So yeah, so now I think bishop takes f3 might be the only way to go, because
Yep.
otherwise, yeah, the knight's gonna have to run away. And well, now we just take on f3, and um it seems kind of pleasant for white after f4. There's just not really any happy square. Like the knight's got to go to g6 now, and just bishop g2 castles, and white just has to be very happy.
Yes. Yes.
Or
White should not be complaining in this position. In fact, queen b3,
yeah,
bishop g2, bishop b3. Everything is white's just
oh, queen
having a
a4,
good.
queen
Or even
a4
queen
too.
a4 is for this. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's just
yeah,
rude.
yuck.
So yeah. So let's see as the game went. So yeah, bishop g2 might have been a bit of a small inaccuracy, allowing black to get the upper hand in the center, at least temporarily. And so white is taking a seemingly passive approach in the center with his pawns. But black always needs to be on the lookout for white stepping it up a gear.
Yeah, this
And
bishop b4 just does not.
yes,
Yeah, it's not definitely not what they need to do. I think maybe be conservative, bishop d6 or something like that. Don't go, because
yes.
that light square diagonal, you're just gonna get shredded. Yeah, knight
So
e5. Yeah, queen a4. It's
95
horrible.
and queen here. And unfortunately for black, bishop takes e3 is not a check. So white will win in this battle of desperados.
Oh man, even worse.
Oh, yeah, that's actually
Cold.
a sweet move. That's actually a sweet move, man.
That is nice.
Yes.
And you know what would be hilarious if queen c5, just let's say queen c5, just for the heck of it. Maybe just no, like rook c1. Like let's see how long we can not take that bishop. If
Ouch.
take the knight, then rook c3 and bishop.
And
Yeah,
then bishop takes c6. This
c6.
is just really nasty. This is not
Uh,
how you treat a friend.
well, I guess,
Wow, we.
yeah,
So this happened in the game.
ugly.
Yeah.
And queen
And
a4. Well, in here, wait a second. Let's right after knight to d5. What about c4?
that would
C4
be
just,
my thought.
yeah,
Exactly.
and that
And then after
knight
here,
is never leaving. Never
and
leaving.
then here. And it's one of those interesting things in chess where there are often so many dimensions to the position, right? So you're looking at the concentration of forces on c6, and then you have to also consider the safety of each individual piece. And so in order for this line to work for black, he has to get his knight to d5. But then once you get the knight to d5, then you have to deal with the knight being completely misplaced in enemy territory, as happened here. So this was bishop d2 wasn't necessary, in other words. I guess I should point out kind of why that is so. So, of
Oh yeah,
course, if knight takes, then bishop takes, and c'est fini.
yeah, that's definitely good enough.
So, so now black has been allowed to give up the pawn anyway. um, and so from here, it would seem as if it's a matter of technique. And so I can't say, oh, this is the absolute best way to play. I guess my preference at this moment might have been to play a4, keeping the knight out of a4. But it turns out that you
You might
don't
not
need
want.
to make a move to prevent your opponent from playing a bad move. So allowing Judson to get knight a4 meant that it was victim to the skewer. And yeah, that was all for that.
Well,
I think going back a bit, yeah.
well, and the good thing though is Judson did say that he's recently retired, and he's kind of coming back to chess again from after a bit of an absence. So I'm sure he's going
Yeah.
to be playing and maybe studying more often. So maybe this might be maybe it might not be as easy next time for Eric. We'll have to see.
Yes. And Eric's is a very interesting person to play against because he seems to he plays solid chess for one. I have the impression going to the game that he is not averse to getting a draw against anyone. But if you make the mistake of giving him an exploitable weakness, then you deserve what you get after that. And that's kind of what happened in this game, I think. Is at
Yeah, that
after
bishop
bishop
b4.
b4. Yeah,
That was
that was the really bad move there. So, and it's funny because it's not superficially, it's not a loose piece, but then combined to this underprotected piece, it becomes an issue. That and the fact that the king is still not castled contributed to make that a losing tactic. So here we've got Robert Donahue versus Jason Wagner, which I assume will
oh
be an
boy.
interesting game. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
wait.
already. Oh, okay.
Wait. Is this so? Um, at some moment in your career, you were playing Sicilian. Maybe you still do every now and then, I guess. Whenever you see b4 on move 3, do you have the sensation of doing the Matumbo finger
Yeah.
wag?
Yes. Yeah. And I recently, I guess my last game in it. Yeah. I guess I think it was like 15, 16 moves or something. But yeah, you definitely. I mean, you can't underestimate people that are going to go crazy and play this kind of stuff. But at the same time, just be principled, take the pawn, and then maybe play for like a d5 and just open up the center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like
So in
knight,
this
yeah.
position, is d5 the move, or is knight
Let's
f6 the
see.
move?
I think here, well, I think knight to f6 first is fine, and then later on it's going to be d5.
Okay.
But there is some idea. Wait, let's see. There is some idea
This
of
position is weird, by the way,
yeah,
if I
it's
may
different.
say so myself. So after knight c6,
I don't play knight
and then
c6.
b
I guess that's the
yeah,
tough
you
that's
don't
the
because you
difference.
usually don't play knight c6, right? You're usually playing
Like an
um
e6 or
e6
um
based systems.
yeah.
b4 right here seems wrong.
Yeah, because wait, couldn't what's wrong with knight takes b4?
Yeah, that's why I said it looks like it should be wrong. Maybe maybe the idea is,
Just C3 and it doesn't transpose to something.
but maybe it transposes into an improvement on a Smith Mora or something.
Hmm.
Because this position actually is looking nice for white. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's
That's
the
it.
secret of it, is that even with knight c6, it's not truly preventing the b4 sack.
I wonder though if D5 immediately after B4 could be something.
See d5 right now.
Yeah, right now.
Um, well, let's
Threatening to
take a look.
take on E4.
Hmm.
So now
And then knight b4. Knight
no
b4.
yeah. Yeah, knight B4 now, exactly. And then they get C4. But now we have bishop F5. Looks interesting.
Okay.
But I guess they
Um,
have D3 and it's just
so d3 and yeah, after a3 and knight c, well, a3 knight c3 bishop somewhere. It seems like black's a
yeah,
bit worse
I want to be
space wise.
spiteful and try and play after D3. I want to try and play like Queen A5 and be a psycho and try and just
Oh,
go after. But just Bishop D2 and yeah, it's just nothing. But that would be
but it's a
uh,
good try for
yeah, and
sure.
you never know. Maybe Bishop takes D3 and you try and get away with something.
Yes.
But no, probably not.
Actually, what? Let's look at that for a second. So after bishop d3, oh yeah, we just played bishop takes, but
And then
then
knight,
you find out it's not a safety pin.
yeah,
It's a pin,
and
but not a safety pin.
yeah, and
So
after King E2, you bring the knight back, and then there's probably some
yes,
A3 or something.
yeah.
Let's see.
Um,
Yeah, crazy. I don't
the
think
pawn
Robert
is
would be
pinned.
opposed to this though. Yeah, the pawn. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Robert wouldn't be opposed to this, but
Well, the
this
pawn
is
is
just a
pinned.
crazy position.
The
The
pawn
pawn
is
is
pinned.
pinned, but the
The
knight
knight's not
has no
going.
square.
Exactly. So knight C3. Just who cares? Just developed.
Now,
Normal,
so
normal
this
chess.
happens, queen takes c4, and now this guy is falling. So
Oh
maybe
man.
black is able to eat his cake and have it after that.
Or hmm. Actually, just queen b3. Well, we should just be able to defend it. So maybe this was bad. Just queen b3 or something. Something after
So yeah, queen
this
b3
queen
seems like it
b3,
might make some sense.
and then
And then here maybe we need to play like b5 or something, because black blast open something.
just funny. And I mean now though, now oddly enough, I think that we can just play a takes knight. So let's just go ahead and like pawn takes knight.
Oh,
And now just like something you give up the piece, maybe even knight a3 or knight a3 to prevent black from moving the queen back. And this is hilarious. Now we can probably take, and this is yeah.
this is
Oh man. Okay,
absurd.
I think we've gone too far down the rabbit hole.
Yes. That's an absurd position. But okay, so yeah, let's say how the game actually went. So knight f6 seems a bit loosey goosey. Um,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
I guess
Maybe
b3 is possible, a5 is possible. Maybe e6 if it is possible. Knight f6 seems a bit dangerous, but well, maybe let's see what happens. So pawn takes, knight takes, and this is kind of instructive. It's an important moment deciding which of these two pawns to take, and I think the e4 pawn, in general, is a better pawn to take than the b4 pawn, but there might be other issues at play.
Yeah, that is definitely not where you want your knight.
No,
And
but Jason is finding a way to make it work.
Bishop d3 though it seems off too. So like what would happen instead of Bishop d3 if White had just played a normal move, like maybe even right just pawn d3.
Yeah.
And now, can attack that knight right away. So, I guess maybe is black just going back to f6 or something, or just so now just bishop to d2 and seems pretty unpleasant. Right.
Yeah,
And we could just take that one and play c4 and stuff like that.
Yeah, black's position just seems very unpleasant.
So bishop d3 feels a little unusual.
Yeah, bishop d3 isn't addressing all the problems in the position, or even some of them, and it's creating a new problem because now the bishop can be attacked with tempo after knight c5. And to be fair, I should say it's attacking with tempo only if you figure the knight is not as good as the bishop in this position.
What? Crazy.
This is a crazy position. So, at the end of the day, the material even, but black has two bishops versus two knights. His king is undefended at the moment, but white's pieces can't get to it anyway. And then there's these pawn weaknesses all over the board.
Yeah, definitely black should be able to consolidate, and then maybe there's a few different plans, but probably like trading the rooks on the open A file is a decent idea, just to eliminate, because white has the one upside of having those doubled pawns is typically you have more files to operate on, and also if you can push them forward. And I think it was like Korchnoi that would say not just pass pawns, but also weaknesses must be pushed.
Yeah. Yeah, this position is not looking nice for black at all. Sorry, for white, I should say, at all. It just seems like, the position is wide open, but the fact that both bishops are staring in the direction of the white king at least creates some psychological pressure. And now black has to remind white that his b5 pawn is a bit overextended.
Well, and also, at least we can be sure of one thing. Chris Webber is sitting behind the camera smiling because he always wants to see these gambits be punished. So.
Yes.
No, it's good.
I should point out. I should point out that Robert is threatening a small cheapo after Queen G3, which Jason escapes with King H8. And so Robert's trying to find the kitchen sink to toss and in Black's direction. And Jason is spending very in an enterprising manner. Now, here,
yeah, that doesn't seem right.
this seems kind of off, but I guess Black was concerned about Pontic's pawn.
So
I
what
wonder
about
about yeah,
Queen D4 though? Just so like Queen
yeah.
D4, and then are they still? Is pawn takes pawn an issue because of the back rank? So
I
pawn
think
takes pawn. I was thinking
that
just queen takes knight, yeah, and then they push. Wait, no pushes though. Oh, nice. Yes, that works. Okay, there we go. So that does work. So queen d4,
yes, the Queen
maybe.
D4 seems like it's a you better listen to me, Mr. Move, you know?
Huh.
Because it doesn't seem, I mean, maybe knight e3 so as to keep that viewpoint open. But
Or
if
just
that is, yeah,
if you're doing the kitchen sick, you might as well play knight to e4. Like, let's not move any
oh,
pieces
yes,
backwards.
yes, yes, yes. So there's there, and um, okay, I guess white, sorry, black
Oh,
could play here if
but
they
then
wanted to.
I
Yeah,
guess pawn takes, and I don't know. I mean, at least it doesn't seem quite as hopeless as it was a second ago. And here,
yeah,
at least white can take with the rook, and
yeah. That's
yeah,
why I'm thinking of just playing bishop takes e4. Oh, sorry, queen d4, and then if knight e4,
bishop
then I
takes.
suppose queen d3 is also possible with the same idea. Although now it's not as strong. Well, it's still as strong. So if he plays here, you still have this checkmate move.
Right. Yeah, maybe they could throw in some weird. Is there any? No, it's still there. It's nothing. I was trying to see if there was some kind of saving grace um they could have with taking on e6, but no, it's just nothing. Just yeah.
Although
Nope.
maybe this actually was a
I
knight
was I was thinking
f2
just take
possible?
back though. You don't even have to take the knight, just like d takes back, and it just seems
Oh yeah,
sad.
there's no entrada.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so queen d4 I think would have made some sense there. And instead, okay, this happens.
Hmm.
Well, of course, why not? Um, this is crazy. So, oh boy, how does he?
What?
Oh, Robert.
That does
So
not seem worth it.
no, and now Jason's able to put all sorts. Every move is either wing material or threatening to win material.
And this is just a simple
Yeah, this is
ending now.
just the beginning of the mop-up operation.
On that night is
And now the knight has a broken rein. So, okay, well, let's see if he's able to extricate the knight. So then d6 happens, threatening bishop d7.
that was
The king
nice,
moves
yeah.
up.
And just making sure, yeah, that's true. I mean, if that rook is gone, that's the end.
Yes.
could probably resign at this point after rook takes g2.
It's like the White King in their autobiography can keep it short. It was a hard life, and then I died.
Oh no.
So, and this is actually kind of mean too, but
Oh
um,
yeah. I mean,
Jason,
that's the thing though. Like the good thing is like Robert's games, they never disappoint. They're always exciting.
yes, quite right.
Oh no, there's that's the end.
And knowing Robert, he might have just played that as a helpmate type thing, where he gets to a
Okay,
point he just figures the game is done, so then he creates the conditions for a mate.
right.
And I don't know if that was what was going on then, or if. Um, but yeah, in any case, I think Jason played a nice game there. Let's go back to what seemed to be the critical moment.
I mean,
Here.
right there too.
Yeah.
I mean, just putting the knight onto it was completely unnecessary to put the knight onto a5 to begin with.
Yes.
So that was just a bad thing to do. And bishop d3, while not as accurate, didn't undo the knight being on a5. Yeah, we were saying like d3 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but with this position here, once I think he was able to get knight d3 in without messing anything else up, it just seemed like White's position was a bit compromised. Yeah, and the fact that this product exists doesn't always mean you go for it, because it seems as if Black um, didn't suffer as a result of the way the exchanges were prosecuted.
Yeah, because I mean, we were saying like, I mean, would be if White just kind of played it a more natural way instead of bishop d3 and just let you
Mm-hmm.
know the knight sit there, then it would be fine. But it
Yes.
was a
Yeah,
little
this
heavy-handed.
seems. I mean, even here, so I think maybe after rook there, maybe consider queen b1, queen, or queen b2, queen b3 type of thing.
Yeah,
But I
actually, I
think
mean,
Robert, yeah,
yeah, queen b2 is interesting too because of the implications for f6. Um,
yes.
and knight d4 and all those ideas, and it protects.
So here, intending here, among other things, maybe d4 at some moment. But then um, the king is not as well defended as one might have thought initially. So that's what we're just thinking about, is maybe queen b2 instead of queen e1. Okay, queen e1 was played, and Robert has tried to go directly to create counterplay with these moves, and it just turns out that yeah, this is one that was kind of surprising, but then made sense later. And now it's just a
Yeah, this is
question
it.
of yeah.
Yeah, this is some nice technique by Jason.
And then it's all over after here. And then I think even just rook here. But maybe one should be too fancy, because then the knight gets to go into g7. So instead, you do this way, which is not only a double check, it's also checkmate. So yeah, so Robert Yeah, it's questionable what maybe Robert had wanted to design. So it seems if we have some more games that have moves connected to them. Let's see. Have Nate Hoover versus Evan Paxton
Yeah, and
from
maybe
England.
uh yeah,
Some of these
that's
might be
interesting.
duplicates too.
Yeah, why is
Like,
there two of those? Yeah,
yeah, some of
maybe,
these
and
might be duplicates.
for time considerations too, this might have to be the last one.
Yeah. So actually, let's see. So let's go back here. E4 there. So it's another bishop opening type position. Bishop d2 seems a bit
Yeah, strange.
different, but okay. Let's see here. All right, so black has gotten a decent position in the opening,
Yeah, the bishop
and
g5 is like one of those kind of questionable moves where it like looks like you're gaining a tempo, but then you get hit with f6. And the only way this could possibly be bad for black is if somehow the pin can be exploited on the knight on d5, but it
yes,
doesn't seem like there's anything fast happening.
yeah, and all of a sudden there's no pin anymore because the king has the time to go to h8. Um, and yeah, I'm not liking
No, this is not good.
this position for Evan. G5, quite ambitious.
But might be justified because White has fallen behind on development, and it doesn't seem that they're really able to punish that G pawn push at all.
Yeah, no, it's and the one major thing saving white in this position is that G8 is covered, and there's no convenient way for doubling on the file, the G file. And so at some point, maybe black might want to consider trying to neutralize white's bishop on C4, but that will take some time.
Hmm.
Okay, what's the time situation here? It seems as if that's a bit generous.
Yeah, I don't think the time's displayed, unfortunately.
Okay.
Um, whoa,
What
okay.
is that?
So
He miscalculated, I'm guessing.
I think I think he was just thinking he has to take with the rook instead of the queen, and
But
then
even
maybe there's knight g6, but that doesn't even seem to
yeah,
produce anything. Um, yeah, I don't understand that move at all.
Row. Where is that dude going?
I guess back to d2. Well, maybe off the
He
board.
went, yeah, he went forward, but it would seem
Well, and
like,
even
yeah.
wait a second. So after after like queen g7, um, instead of I guess that works too. It's another fork. I was wondering if queen g7 also worked because then the bishop after the queen trade's just forking. But yeah, this seems no, this
Ah,
but no, they it
yes.
seems
So
equally
you're
good.
so you're looking at this, and then if
Yeah,
here and
right.
here.
Yeah, and the problem is
Hmm.
the queen can't defend. The queen's kind of overloaded. So if you don't trade, you're gonna have to drop a knight too. But what Nathan
But now
did
we have this and
also,
this hanging. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So what Nathan did seemed just as good though. He's forking, or he's the same thing. Like knight's overloaded. All Wade's pieces are kind of overloaded.
Yes. I mean, there's this, which allows for this. There's this, which allows for this.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh man, this is harsh.
And it was
So
funny that even the queen was overloaded because we had queen g7 too. So every single piece,
yes,
basically.
yes, quite right. Okay, so Nathan correctly chooses the most brutal version, threatening queen takes g2 mate,
Yeah.
and Evan resigns. So it looks like we've covered most all of the games are that were transmitted,
Right.
and
Um,
probably yes.
yeah, I think, I think we actually got all of them, right? I don't think there
Yep.
was any other ones. So, yeah, that's good. Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of good chess. Definitely. Yeah, Nathan's had some good runs though. On Tuesday and Thursday lately. So, yeah,
Oh, yeah. I
definitely.
haven't seen the scoreboard for Tuesdays yet.
Yeah, I think he had some nice win there as well. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll be seeing seeing that 2200 again at some point if he keeps
Yes,
playing like this. And yeah,
definitely.
really interesting. Also, Miles and Connor, the way they, yeah, bravo for
Yes.
them for finishing off like that. So, yeah, I guess we'll probably adjourn. But thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, have a
And I
good
think
night.
next week we have
Oh, Frankie, right?
um, Frankie. Yes. Yes. So you have a fire breather doing the commentary. A definite upgrade. All right. See you guys.
All right, bye.